How many tickets do I have? I feel like I'm gonna release some incriminating stuff against myself right now. What's going on, guys? Micah Diaz here, 2019 Formula Drift Pro-Am champion. Hoonigan Wanted, you may have seen some of my work. You may have seen me at the Hoonigan Donut Garage doing the man line. You may have seen me on tour with the Hoonigans in Saudi Arabia burning down a G35. And I'm here at Esr Wheels to answer some questions and pick up these beautiful wheels. Esr back in the day was one of the only companies who was working with drivers, and I was just lucky to be one of them. So that was pretty cool to have you guys put faith in me such a long time ago when I was barely getting started and the car didn't, I don't even think my car had over fenders on the rear end or something. I just remember it being like terrible. It was really bad, but you guys were willing to work with me, and that was something that set you apart, because essentially, like, you want to grow as a driver and be able to offer companies something. So for a company to jump in with you when you don't really have anything to offer is such a huge statement on who runs the company and how it's ran and kind of where their focus is put in. How did I link up with Esr Wheels? At the time, I think it was 2015, Rathina Gomer and Zach, I don't know how to pronounce Zach's last name. He hangs out with TJ, Zach in San Diego, a white kid, always showing his butt on the internet. That guy was sponsored by you guys, and then he pushed me toward, or I asked about it, and then I got met up with you guys. And then I was like, yo, where are you guys getting these sick wheels from? And then they were like, you gotta come talk to Esr and our guy over there, David. So then I met David, and then we just fell in love. Do I remember the first time I tried to drift? I do remember the first time no, I don't remember the first time I tried it. It was in my Toyota pickup truck. I know that. Toyota pickup truck in the Harupa lot. For all my boys back in the day, they know the Harupa lot. That was where I learned how to drift. It's just an industrial parking lot that had nothing in it. Just a giant skid pad. What inspired me to get into drifting? I can't really like pinpoint exactly what happened. It had something to do with all the go-karts and go-peds and mopeds and Tokyo Drift and friends and my family being all involved in cars. So it kind of like just one thing led to another, and drifting was like the sickest, most affordable motorsport that I could get involved in. And then I just did it. Like, I did my first ride along, and then it was history from there. My first actual car was a 1987 E30. So the 87, I believe, is a 325 IS. So from my understanding, it's the lightest E30 chassis ever produced that was not an M3. It was a 5-speed, inline 6, 2.5.
How many tickets do you have?
How many tickets do I have? I feel like I'm gonna release some incriminating stuff against myself right now. I don't remember. That's how many.
You have suspended license?
No, actually, my license is expired.
You were here?
No, my wife drove. My license actually expired a couple days ago because my birthday. Yeah, it was the 5th year.
So you drift professionally, but you don't have a driver's license to get around.
What's the point?
I like it.
I've been drifting since 2010 when I got my license. So roughly 10 years. This would be my 10th year. Competitively drifting, that was terrible. In competition, I've been drifting. In competitive drifting, I've probably been driving since 2016 was my first full season. 15, I jumped into one round and realized I brought a knife to a gunfight. And I was like, I need to redo some stuff. Favorite drift event? One where I'm driving. I don't have anything else.
Anytime you drive.
Yeah, watching's cool, don't get me wrong, but when you're actually playing, that's when it's fun. Cool. My favorite motor setup for drifting is an LS. It's just too simple. It's easy, it's small, it's lightweight, it makes a ton of power, and there's parts readily available everywhere you go. We're in America. Just run the LS. Makes sense. My current car, Cash Machine, makes 730 at the crank, and it makes 620 at the tire. So for actual car people, it makes 620. For dealerships and car manufacturers, it makes 730. The daily driver is a CRV right now, which is my wife's car, so calm down. And then my actual truck tow rig setup is a Ford F350, so pretty dope. But I want a 7 Series.
7 Series means
Like the one Tupac got shot in.
the E38
But with bulletproof windows.
and doors.
And doors, because I'm not trying to get shot like Tupac. Here's the thing with dream cars, okay? It's like talking about your favorite meal. There's not really like a particular favorite meal. There's Italian food, Mexican food, and within those you have your own. So it's the same thing with dream cars. Muscle car, 1969 Chevy Camaro. European car, probably the car that I have. There's so many, like I have too many. I picked a BMW to drift in because it was the first chassis I ever gotten was the E30. It made the most sense for being broke, inline 6, rear wheel drive, differentials galore. And then jumping into the E36 and not having it properly set up, but seeing the potential that people were taking it to. Eventually, once we got our car and our E46 chassis finally figured out, the rear suspension, the front suspension, the engine bay, the interior, everything on the car was exactly what we were looking for. And it just like works. So I'm stuck on BMWs. JDM legend, JZX 100. All day. Ooh, who inspires me in the drift scene? That's a tough one because I have so many people. The first inspiration I think I ever had in drifting was Chelsea Denofa. Frederick Osbo, James Dean, Peter Vincic, Matt Field. There's just a bunch, like just a group of guys really that are super aggressive and like willing to make it happen regardless, like if it's checkers or wreckers. Those are the boys who are throwing down 100% all the time. I like those type of drivers. Those guys pump me up. Closest experience to death with like in a car,
Ever.
on a bicycle,
Anything.
on a motorcycle.
I don't know. You have a lot of experiences.
I have a lot of experiences. I think the closest one, and I think it was mainly because I wasn't in control, was when I was riding shotgun in the canyons with my buddy. And I told him to slow down because his car couldn't handle it and I could feel it in the passenger seat losing it. And then we lost it and pretty much like hit the edge of like this little berm rollover and damn near went over the edge and like he barely saved it and came off of it.
Where is it?
I don't want to say.
GMR.
Yeah. Yeah, it's GMR.
Like everybody.
Yeah, like everybody else. Everybody almost dies up there. Quote I live by, stay strapped, never clapped, unless it's them cheeks. My wife loves that one. She hates it. My dad always told me that you have to do what you have to do before you can do what you want to do. Stay strapped, never clapped, unless it's them cheeks. Favorite track to drift on is gonna have to be Irwindale. Formula drift layout. Big bank to small bank. Super sketch. All right, guys, thanks for watching. You can find me at Micah_Diaz_. It's a whole thing with the name being taken and don't worry about it. And then you can also find us on YouTube at Micah Diaz. Go ahead and subscribe, leave a like, tell your friends about us. Also follow ESR at Esr Wheels and ESR Forge. Thanks for watching, stay driven.